guys, I'm Leila. We're in Reach Shadow Legends, and check it out. We have a brand new mythical champion, Polara Fireheart. She is the one that was recently added that you can get through the hard faction war path, which dropped. So here's her normal form. She looks beautiful. I just love her design. We say Fireheart here. So we got the fire on her weapon. We have that looks like she's a caster, so she's actually holding a fireball. So let's see her Super Saiyan form. Oh, look at that! Fire and ice. Okay, that is really cool. And then we have like this cool swirling pattern here. She's literally like, what do we even call it? Not necessarily like an ice giant or something, but she's literally like all ice. Her shield, her sword, literally like her armor. What a cool design. I really like this quite a bit. I would love to know what you guys think of this. And yeah, you guys see, so also you didn't notice this, but her base form is attack, where her mythic form is defense. So two very different forms as well too. And she is going to be a mythic for the Sacred Order. Now she's brand new. I have not checked out her lore story at all. I was waiting for you guys. So let's read it together and see where this name comes from. So here we go. The Sacred Order is a place for zealous purists and idealists. Among the most passionate of these is a young woman called Serena Flamehair, a noted purger of the undead, demon spawn, and clethy cultists. Some aged war bishops of the Order claim that if just 10% more of their number had her raging inferno of devotion, Teleria could be rid of evil and darkness for good. They have no idea that Serena is a Lightbringer, and her true name of Polara Fireheart is known to precious few in Teleria. Unlike every other Lightbringer, Polara never left the Sacred Order during the Red Crusade, convinced that despite the organization's hideous acts, it could be turned around. Other Lightbringers such as Sir Nicholas, Lady Noelle, and Joan the Illuminate all tried to persuade Polara to leave, but she refused. She disguised herself as a mortal, taking on a different name and form, which she has changed many times over the centuries to ensure she doesn't arouse suspicion. A human who never ages would draw many questions. An elderly scholar, a hunter of necromancers, a humble hospice nurse, she has been them all. Between each version of herself, she has pretended to depart the Order or even faked her own death. Now Polara poses as Serena, a hot-headed holy warrior dedicated to bearing the flame of Maia's light and wielding it to cast out her enemies. The hues of her long-plaited hair and the carnelian stone she wears around her neck matches that of the flames she unleashes upon Sirat's minions wherever she finds them. On her waist, she wears the Codex Incendior, a tome replete with pyromantic spells and curses and flames from the Fire Eterna, which has roared in the Eternal Citadel since the building's construction. She contains them within an enchanted vessel of filigree brass, capable of sustaining the holy flames within it without fuel, air, or heat. Polara's blade resembles a volcano forever on the edge of eruption, lines of white heat trailing the side and edge, rumbling ominously with lethal, barely contained energy. With it, she has smote vampires that have wiped out entire villages and destroyed shambling hordes of undead, who have burst what was supposed to be their final resting places en masse. This version of Polara is idolized for her courage and tenacity, to such an extent some are heralding her a saint in the making. Her few detractors argue she has never hunted as scum, such as orcs or skinwalkers. She spits back that some creatures are unworthy of her attention, is an assertion that so far has not aroused suspicion. But those who celebrate Serena, as well as doubt her, other oblivious to her true identity and her true form. In reality, she resembles more a knight of ice, an angel of snow and freezing, a peerless mistress of cryomancy whose mere touch could freeze a fiery demon of Anathrad or the Durham River Solid. Just being in her presence is enough for an enemy to feel the fluidity of their movement freeze. The air around her chills joints, making sword movements ponderous or impossible, and stills tongues, rendering it impossible for major sorcerers to speak their curses and charms. Even in the middle of the desert, she can throw a thick, high wall of huge ice between her and her allies in an instant, and should any be on the cusp of death, slow the process of dying to naught. Polara keeps another secret from the Sacred Order. She maintains a distant vigil over the portal to the Halls of Eternity, where Lumea resides, which can be found deep hidden and forgotten within the Eternal Citadel. She knows that it is failing, a result of the Lightbringers who left Teleria after the Red Crusade began unwinding its magic from their side. Polara retains contacts among the Lightbringers in Teleria, as well as several of the Arbiter's Vault Keepers and Chroniclers. None know what to do. They cannot contact the Arbiter, none know where she is, and she acts according to her own whims. And so, Polara is in the position of desperately seeking out the Arbiter while maintaining the pretenses of her position, an onerous task even for one of her abilities. As if concealing her identity from the Sacred Order and trying to safeguard Teleria's only known portals to the Hall of Eternity was not taxing enough, Polara has a third goal, one perhaps more idealistic than any other. She wishes to see the waters of life, the source from which all living beings besides the gods themselves emerge, and the source of the Arbiter's powers, unthawed. The Arbiter herself was forced to freeze them over to stop Sephiroth from capturing them centuries before the Second Great War. The Shadow God was successfully thwarted, but ever after the Arbiter's powers slowly waned. To Polara, the loss of the waters was a tragedy. It was a symbol of the hope of Teleria, a place from which all things came, a shared ultimate source. Would Sephiroth attack again if the ice was broken and the waters freed? Yes, but they could be adequately defended, Polara is convinced. With the Arbiter restored, darkness could surely be driven from Teleria entirely. Demon Spawn would flee in terror back to Anerthrad. People around the world would rally against the forces of evil. The Sacred Order would realize the error of its ways. It is something Polara has spoken with Pixneal, famed elven cryomancer, extensively. She does not know that her confidant has spoken with the Arbiter about this in one of their irregular conversations. The Arbiter just shook her head and despaired at Polara's naivety. It was a fatal flaw that could threaten all of Teleria. Okay, so that is the lore story for Polara Fireheart. I think they did a really good job. I think they fleshed it out really well. So now we understand she's a Lightbringer. So she's basically on the same lines as like Arbiter and Cardiel and Astralon and some of those like basically the right hand of Lumea, you know what I mean? Like they're basically angelic angels and gods and goddesses themselves. And I love how they make it that technically they're saying this is her real form. Like, this is what she actually really looks like, is this here. But what she does to be able to try to help Teleria and meet her goals is she uses this form. You know, so she has like this human form here and she just uses like fire magic, which I find is very interesting because it's the opposite of what she actually really is, which we show as like cryomancy and freezing, right? I would love to know what you guys think for the lore story for Polara Fireheart. Do you think it did it justice? Is it what you had thought for her story? Make sure you guys drop me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.